the stove yesterday. I ordered it at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and it was delivered at 11 o'clock on Sunday. So it was not available at any of the Lowe's, either in Angola or here. But it took like 3 weeks to get it delivered to the store. They had it to my house in less than 24 hours. How does that work?
We ordered ours from Lowe's on Saturday.
Yeah?
They're like, oh, we can have it delivered tomorrow. I'm like, no. I
Do
said, delivery guys can stay home. It's Father's Day. I'm like, no.
So they delivered to your house instead.
Yeah, exactly. They're the same guys.
And then they ended up delivering it this morning.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Okay, we can call the meeting to order at 6:30. And we'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Union City Community Schools Board meeting. Our meeting agenda is available for you to follow. The expectation for our board meeting is to follow this agenda closely. We operate under the Open Meetings Act and utilize Robert's Rules of Order to govern our discussion and decision-making process. There is an opportunity for public comment during our set agenda. We welcome the public to express their opinions during this time of our agenda. If there are questions about the agenda or the board meeting process, please seek out one of the board members for clarification. Do we have any addition or deletion of items to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So support.
Discussion?
Always said the city will resign, but that's what they said made sense. So
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Move on to correspondence. Do you have any correspondence this evening? No? All right. Next is our first public comments time. This is the section of the meeting in which the public may make comments or share their opinions about items on the agenda. We ask you to limit your comments to no longer than 5 minutes per person to allow others the opportunity to speak. This is an opportunity for the board to listen to your concerns. It is not board practice to act on the concerns voiced during this meeting to allow for the board to do further research. Do we have any comments at this time?
saying none? No, sorry. You were slow to the gun, Scott.
What's that?
You were slow to the trigger.
Sorry. I saw the agenda that you're voting on a new elementary school principal. I just wanted to say that, not that my opinion really matters, but I think that the candidate you picked is an excellent choice. He's a former student of mine and I've known him for most of his life. He's a super hardworking student, both in the classroom as well as athletics. He'd always give his best effort in everything he did and always strive to improve. I know that he's going to continue doing the same in this position should you choose to vote him in. Personally, for years, I've thought it was really sweet that so many former students of mine have come back to work here as teachers. I'm super proud of each one of them. A few years ago, one even came back to become my principal. I think that personally, selfishly, I think having 2 out of 3 principals in the district being former students of mine would be fantastic. They're great people. Should he get this position, I know that if he only does even half as good a job as Amber Case has already done, he'll still be the best principal the elementary's ever had. So again, I just want to say how much I think the choice of Mark Bates for elementary school principal is, oh, wait a minute, it says Michael Bates here. Is this a typo? Is he the only applicant? I guess he'll do it. So I'm just messing with him here. I told him he did a senior prank on me 16 years ago, and I told him to get even with him. So we're even now. Just to be clear, Michael Bates is going to do an awesome job as elementary school principal. Should you, and I anticipate that you will vote to choose him to be in this position. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to our action items. Board action is required to approve the financials for the month ending May 31st, 2024. I will entertain a motion for the same.
Support.
Discussion.
I have a question. On the food service budget, it looks like we brought in more money than we thought, and we spent a little more than we thought, but the two aren't adding up to the ending fund balance when I look at it, so I'm not sure if that's my math error, or if we do have an ending fund balance that's negative.
I can double check that. Is that a correction?
I don't have to have the answer right now, but it looks like we received more than we thought, which is good. But that we spent more than we thought too, but the way it adds up, I don't think it should be net 72,000 negative. It should be the difference. But, so my biggest concern is it really negative for the ending fund balance? I don't think it is. So
Right.
that was the only question.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carried. Go next to the millage levy resolution. Board action is required to approve the 2024 tax millage rate request report. That is a tongue twister. To County Board of Commissioners. This report requests levying the allowable portion of the 18 mills on non-homestead and non-qualified agriculture property, currently 17.75252 mills, on December 1st, 2024, and that on all district properties, an amount not to exceed the allowable portion of the 4.5 mills authorized by the voters for sinking fund millages, currently 2.9892 mills, on December 1st, 2024. Do I have a motion for the same?
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
The sinking fund is two, right? Two individuals to add up to or add to 4.5, sorry.
That's what has been voted and approved, but we're not allowed to levy more than 3,
Okay.
which when reduced by Headley knocks it down to the 2.92, whatever it is.
And we fixed the problem we had a couple years ago.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So basically
That's
we're
all
just
taken care of. We're back to, it'll be 2.98 from
just
now on.
renewing what we currently have.
Yep.
And that's gonna be on the ballot in November.
No, this is not for a ballot.
Oh, it's not for a ballot, you're right.
This
Okay.
is just letting them know what we're levying.
Okay. There's no reason to say no to this.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, go ahead, Kelly. We'll call the roll.
Labar,
Yes.
Arlt,
Yes.
Mears,
Yes.
Steele,
Yes.
Gauchi,
Yep.
Herman.
Yes. We'll move on to the elementary principal hiring. Board action is required to approve the hiring of Michael Bates as elementary principal. I would entertain a motion for the same.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
Michael is here, and we had quite a process. We're glad to see him here tonight. Glad to have him with us. As Mr. Cahill pointed out, former student here.
I'm glad to see there was such a large group that decided.
Mhm.
And that's hard to pick a person out of a large group. But I'm glad it was more than just a couple. We got unanimous approval, so that's great. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you to Jennifer for what she's done too.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Middle school art teacher hiring. Board action is required to approve the hiring of Leslie Wardell as the middle school art teacher. I will entertain a motion for the same.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
You like her?
Yes.
Good.
She's like a firecracker.
Jamie,
I can't wait.
she was very excited.
I've never hired anybody this early in the year either, so that's another ray of sunshine for me.
Awesome.
So I'm super excited. She comes with lots of experience and tons of ideas, so I'm excited to see how she impacts our art program in the middle school.
Great. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same, and that motion carries. We'll move on to reduction of administrator position. Board action is required to eliminate the position of Director of Behavior Supports and lay off Mr. James Owens. I would entertain a motion for the same.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
It's never easy, but I mean, financially, I think it was, we didn't have many other choices. So, thank you for his time here. For all the times he filled into the basketball games, I saw him a lot there.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Move on to, the MHSAA 2024-25 membership resolution. Board action is required to approve membership as in MHSAA for 24-25 as presented. I would entertain a motion for the same.
So moved. Support.
Was that you, Jeremy?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Discussion.
What do you think, Paul? Get that thinking face going on. You alright over there? Okay. You were contemplating something? Okay.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same.
Consent.
Oh, sorry, thank you.
Resolution.
I even had an arrow to it to say this is a resolution. Call the roll, please, Kelly.
Steele,
Yes.
Gauchi,
Yes.
Labar,
Yes.
Mears,
Yes.
Arlt,
Yes.
Herman.
Yes. Next one's resolution two, I'm saying that to myself. Next, School of Choice 2024-25 resolution. Board action is required to approve the School of Choice resolution for 2024-25 as presented. I would entertain a motion for the same.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
It's the same as last year, right? It hasn't changed.
The dates changed.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, please
No.
signify. Resolution, thank you. Glad somebody's looking out for me. I'm just in the mindset, we're rolling forward. Go ahead, Kelly.
I want to cut the president down, but
Thanks,
I
man.
had to stop you.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Mears,
Yes.
Gauchi,
Yes.
Steele,
Yes.
Arlt,
Yes.
Labar,
Yes.
Herman.
Yes. All right, next, mental health services specialist position. Board action is required to approve the creation of a mental health services specialist position. I would entertain a motion for the same.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
We're talking about this.
And this is a non-administrative role, correct?
It's a non-administrative position. It would be utilizing the 31N grant funds, similar to what other districts like Homer and Marshall, the Calvin ISD employee would be most likely a social worker. I included in the packet sample contract that Homer had for theirs with the pay scale. I'm hoping to hire in that range, 50 to, I don't want to go much more than 55. Obviously depends on who the person is and the experience and those things, but they'll get benefits. It'll be full-time during the school year. So
Primarily at the elementary school, or we don't know yet?
no, they will work in all of our buildings wherever we have students that have those needs. Mr. Owens' position, the Director of Behavior Sports, was partly paid for by this 31N money. And so he had administrative duties, but he also had a caseload of students. He carried a caseload of 10 students spread over the 3 buildings that he met with. This person will, I'm told by Hetty Culver, who works at the ISD and manages the program, and meets with the people under this every 2 weeks, she said, that she'll be supervising them, that they typically carry 30 to 40 students on their caseload that they will work with across the building, any students who have need. The social workers that we currently have are all, that work here are all employed for special education students only. And so this is someone who can work with students who aren't special ed but have great need of services in this area. And I think, and after talking with Sarah about the financial aspect of it, in addition to the 31N grant, there's some CARES grant funding that we just started getting this year that will help also offset. And so we don't know why. Did you ever find out why it's taken this long? But we just got the funding for 2019 and 2020 for that.
Oh, geez.
And so we're hoping to get 21 and 22 next year. It's the ISD is the one that has to get that together and send it to us. But on balance, we think that those two things will pay for the entirety of this. So
Who was the person report to?
this person will report to me, and
Sorry.
but as far as their actual duties here, Hetty Culver will be working with them on the whole job description. And everything comes as part of that grant program, so I have the full job description. She'll be meeting with them every 2 weeks and those types of things. But anything on site here, yes, he or she will be reporting to me. Or Jamie, I haven't said.
Michael's a new guy, he gets all that.
New guy gets it?
New guy
gets it.
He's got a social worker background, so
Yeah.
I saw that.
He's got the
would be
experience that he just
He's got
would be the better person
the
to
perfect
supervise.
background for that. So that's a good idea, Jamie. You're thinking like a delegator. Very good, very good.
Just thinking about not on my plate.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. We'll move on now to discussion items with an update on facility improvement planning. Chris?
Yes, I wanted to let the board know that we met with, a few of us met with Rob from Chrisman, along with a couple of other people from Chrisman, and also Steve from C2A, the architect, who are doing our consolidation study. And we met with them last week at a virtual meeting. They have completed the evaluation of our buildings, and they have I forget the actual scale, but it was a draft that they presented to us, and they will be finalizing that. But it showed that our 3 buildings are, let's just shall we say, on the very low end of habitable on the rating scale. Yes, they are all habitable. The middle school had the lowest rating of the 3. The high school was next, and the elementary was the highest rated. Even though the core of that building is the oldest in the district, but they've had many more upgrades and remodels and those types of things. So what they wanted to talk with us specifically about last week was options for consolidation. If we were to consolidate to reduce our number of buildings, what that would look like. So we have 2 different tiers, 2 different things going on in this process. One is the consolidation grant that we received the funding from the state to pay for all this analysis and looking at combining. So we're doing that, but we're also at the same time going to be utilizing those numbers to look at what is it we actually need to fix, enhance, improve district-wide in our facilities. And then at some point to make a decision about what direction we're going to go to try to make those improvements happen. And so they suggested some ideas of possible reconfigurations of buildings, and we looked at those and narrowed it down to one would be, for example, creating a K-12 building a brand new K-12 building with different wings, so on. Homer's a school that has all their students in one building, for example. Another would be to build or either remodel an existing building to or build a new building to house a combination of grades, for instance, 7 through 12 or 6 through 12. We told them we didn't really want to look at 5 through 12 as an option. We needed to restrict the numbers, how many different options we look at, and if you're remodeling to combine, it's a lot different than building from scratch, where you can create barriers and separate age groups, share kitchens, share things like that, but still have ways to keep the kids from interacting. And we didn't like the idea of 5th grade being with seniors. Not even sure I like the idea of 6th grade. I'm thinking 7, 12 myself, and so 7-12 option, a 6-12 option, and that might mean adding onto this building. It might mean building a new for that level, and then having K5 or K6 at the elementary might mean we'd have to make some changes down there. And then of course the last option, which is if we just leave our buildings as they are, what repairs, what things do we need to do to get these buildings. And again, my goal is to have a plan in place that we know our buildings are going to make it through the next 30 years. Because we're nickel and diming things at this point, and we're falling behind, and we need to make a commitment to these buildings or make a commitment in a different direction to cover us for a long term. So they took the information, our discussion, finalizing the results, and they will want to have a meeting here in probably maybe 2nd week of July with our core group, and I told them that I would like the building and site committee from the board involved in that, at that level, to go over the preliminary report. Before then it would be presented to the board. Now, one of the difficult things here with this is that we still don't know exactly how our report needs to be submitted to the state. They haven't quite told us yet, the state hasn't, how they are going to take what we propose doing in terms of consolidating, and then how they might act on that in terms of providing grants to us to help us do that work. You know, the hope would be if we choose and say, all right, we think our best course of action, say, I'm just using an example, say we decided our best course of action would be to, you know, add on to this building to house 7th and 8th grade and do whatever changes we need at the elementary to move 5th and 6th down there, and we put that plan together, that the state would provide funds to help us be able to do that. How much they would help? Again, they haven't provided much information in that regard. All they have said so far is that if you want a chance at that money, whatever it is, you need to do this consolidation study, which is what we're in the middle of. So that's kind of where we're at right now with the whole thing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Are we able to move forward into deciding something that we would like as a board before we know what the state's requirements are for the report? Or do we need to wait and see what the state wants first before we make any sort of decision?
So we will be going through, because we had already decided that we needed to move forward on a process to perhaps go to the community with a bond proposal a year from now, next May. So that process will continue forward along with this possible grant. Now, if we decide, we will be forming a steering committee at some point, probably, my guess is late July, early August, to, once we get the full report from them, to then take those recommendations with all those numbers and work through the process. What does the community want? What does the board want? To get feedback from all the different possible constituents that might be involved, and then put a path forward. Now, if we decide in that process that a consolidated building is the best way to go, of some sort, then that would be the process we would try to move forward with as a board to go for a bond, knowing that grant funds could potentially offset that and would require us not to have the entire bond. As far as timing, we don't currently have an idea of what the timing of the state's going to be. And so the state might come back at some point, or might let us know at some point about what their timing is, that might make us decide, well, let's not have an election until August, or it might make us adjust that. Or it might be something where we still don't have any clue, but we really just need to move forward, knowing that we move forward, we try to pass a bond, hopefully the bond will pass, and then if the state grants us funds, then we won't need to borrow whatever amount of money we might get from the state. I find it very doubtful the state is going to come in and fund our entire construction. But if we do a consolidation, there is at least a hope that they will fund part of it. How much information we have to know how much, I really don't have an answer right now. They're very slow in providing this, and so we're trying to work both of these things together at the same time and do it in a thoughtful way, and you know, just I'm trying to be very open about sharing all the details so people know what we're trying to do about this. This is just one avenue that might get us some funds to help save taxpayers money locally, which would be really great. But I also told them that it's very possible that our steering committee and our board might look at that and say, you know, really, we really want to keep 3 different buildings. And what do we have to do to make that happen? You know, that might be what, you know, the decision that the community feels is best for our district. I don't know. But pretty much, absent that, the only other option would be probably to do some sort of a consolidation. And we have the enrollment projections and all those types of things that we'll have in that draft. That will, their final report that they'll bring to us, like I said, probably second week of July, is what he told me.
Do you anticipate it coming before the full board then in July, at July's meeting?
That is the hope, yes. I had mentioned to someone, I'm not sure who, maybe Sarah, I'm not sure, that we might want to delay the July meeting in order to make it, to make that happen. I would not want to have, I think the July meeting is middle month, pretty much.
Yeah.
15th. So if they can't have it ready by then, I'd hate to have that meeting and then have to wait till August. And we could maybe delay it a week and then have the report ready. But I'll know more on that over the next week or two, that I can update everyone, so that we can just have the one meeting in July for that. A lot of times in the past we've skipped the July meeting.
Right.
But I don't think this is the time we want to. We probably want to get that report and have that meeting, if only just for that report. I'm sure we'll have maybe a couple of teacher hirings, hopefully, or something in there, but.
Okay. Thank you. Next up is information items. Audit information from Lewis and Jurassic PC.
Yeah, it's just a letter in your packet regarding the audit. They'll be coming. You know when they're coming yet?
August.
I thought it said
August
August.
12th.
Yeah. They're not here as long as our old auditors used to be here for days on end. They're usually here for just a couple days.
It's 3 days.
3 days. So,
Alrighty.
and then,
Thank you, Sarah.
just the evaluation tool training information is just to make sure you let Kelly know which training you want her to sign you up for. Of those 3 options.
Alright, very good. Thank you. We move on now to our second public comments time. This is the second section of the meeting in which the public may make comments or share their opinions about the Union City Community Schools. We ask you to limit your comments to no longer than 5 minutes per person to allow others the opportunity to speak. This is an opportunity for the board to listen to your concerns. It is not board practice to act on the concerns voiced during this meeting to allow for the board to do further research. Do we have any comments at this time?
I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity that I've learned so much during my 5 years here, and I have very much appreciated the support of the board and the support of Chris, the support of Jamie and Amber and Kelly and Sarah and everybody. There's so much that I'm going to miss very much, and I've just been very appreciative, and so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any others? Seeing none, we'll move on to board roundtable. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to share this evening?
Are you going to cross country? Yeah, so we will be gone the 15th anyway. In July.
Okay.
So it might, for that purpose, in addition to,
Always awful.
I know,
And maybe we should just go ahead and reschedule it.
That's what I'm thinking, if we do it the following,
yeah.
The
the
22nd.
22nd. Does that look like that would be workable? Alright, why don't we just go ahead and plan that then,
Okay.
and then you won't have to worry about
Okay.
it. Great.
How's the track coming along? I've seen it recently.
The surface is finished, and the painter has been called to come and paint the lines on. But he is supposed to contact me before he comes, and so that I can talk to him, or he will. I don't know if there's any thing I have to decide, but they just told me he would contact me before he starts painting it. But yeah, the surface is all done. It's nice.
The community is planning on doing a 4th of July here, or no?
Yes.
We're ready for that for the most part.
The fence, they were finishing up the fence today, I was told. I haven't looked to see if it's completed, but it was looking pretty nice earlier today. So the black fence in the front looks really sharp. The asphalt is going to be patched. All the open spaces will all be filled in, and the parking lot is going to be seal coated and new stripes painted on in the next 2 weeks. And as far as the bathroom building, which is the only other thing, well, shouldn't say that. There is the matter of the railings, which I'll talk about in a second. But the bathroom building, they were finishing the floors today, I believe, they thought. And then the next couple days, they will be hanging the porcelain and putting up the dividers for the bathrooms, and then the bathrooms will be done. The railings will not be delivered and installed until middle of July. The railings for the handicap ramp and the 2 steps. There are temporary railings on the steps right now, just so that people can use them, but the actual railings will be delivered mid-July. That's the last thing to be done on it. So we are very close, thankfully, to being finished.
So they will be able to be occupied for the July 4th
Yep,
thing? Okay.
it's
Wednesday, right?
It's usually on the 3rd.
It's on the 3rd,
So
whatever
it's
the 3rd.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and the boosters are swinging into action on the work on the press box itself. So that work will take place over between now and the first football game, and then that will all be done. So
Anything else for board roundtable?
Do you need more volunteers? Okay, we need more volunteers for the boosters, for the press box. We need more volunteers, people. Contact Mrs. Case. That's all.
Budget meeting. We just scheduled that meeting.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have to have another, I was just gonna do it when we came back, but I can do it now. Cause we still have to close session, but
Yeah.
we will need to have another board meeting this month for the budget. Mrs. Lesson was not able to get everything ready for today. So, it'll just be the budget, and there might be, some individual contracts that will be there with it. But that's it.
When are you anticipating?
You said if
Yeah.
you had on the or a week from today, you could do it, you'd be ready on the 24th?
Yeah, I mean, like, I have everything done now. There's one other thing which I'm gonna finish tonight, and then our attorney has to do their work with the state aid note, and he's asked for at least a week, which would be next Monday. So, that's why.
Are we safe then trying to see if we can gather on the 24th? Okay.
That would be fine.
How's that look?
I will not be here.
Paul, will you? Okay.
We would like to have a finance committee meeting before.
I'm not on that anymore. Oh, okay.
Who's on it now?
That would be Paul, Archie, and Aaron.
So we would like to have a finance committee meeting before the board meeting. Either immediately before, or if you said you came here on that Monday.
I'll be gone Friday through all next week.
You're leaving Friday through all next week. Okay. You know who's the alternate?
Question.
I don't, do we have an alternate?
Is it Jeremy?
We redid the committees at last month's meeting.
I know, but I
It's
wasn't
inter-
sure we had
I don't
any.
have that. I can go look.
No, I don't personally.
I mean, alternate.
I'm sure there's We'll hang tight, time out.
Time out.
Is it Jeremy or Paul?
Well, Paul's on, so I
Yeah,
think it
I
might be
think it's
Jeremy.
Yeah, because she's on personnel.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's Jeremy.
I think it is
that's
Jeremy.
right.
I think it is Jeremy. I think that was changed when you came on
was.
last month. I think he was made the alternate for both, for those.
I think you're right.
So, how much time would you need before the board meeting? What do you think?
I don't think it would be that long. I mean, what do you want me to go
Yep,
over
okay,
specifically?
we were pretty sure it was Jeremy.
Just if
Oh,
they
it's
have-
Jen? Jennifer's the alternate.
See, she's trying to push it
Jen's
off on me.
alternate.
You are the alternate.
Can I be that? Can I be the alternate if I'm already on one?
Yeah, well, you can be on. You can be on multiple committees.
All right.
You can be on multiple committees. Why don't we say 5:30?
I'm on like 3.
Can we do it at 5:30?
Do more than one. I don't think she was serious yet.
I truly didn't know.
Could we meet at 5:30 before the board and have the board meeting at 6:30? Or do you want to go a different date? But you're not going to be here at all week, so it won't matter. So, may as well stick with Monday if everybody else can do that.
Do you need a full hour?
So how many questions is Darren gonna ask?
That is a valid statement.
I mean, I don't know, an hour might be a lot. I guess what I would like to know is what you would like me to go over, because normally in the actual meeting, like the budget meeting, I'll go over like the PowerPoint, which has like a breakdown. So I guess when I met with you guys, I could just
Well,
go over it without that.
but when we meet with them, one of the things we can do is we can go through some of the cuts we've made and our rationale and talk about those if they involve people and so on
Okay.
in a easier way to help explain how the monies for certain
So
grants
more
have been
detail.
moved to pay for different people.
Okay.
More detailed than what we might go into at a full board meeting.
I think like 5:45 should be good.
8:45. Good.
Perfect. I'm writing it down.
So Monday, June 24th.
Which means still 6:30 for
6:30 for that.
us
Yeah.
and Paul.
Yep. And as soon as we get,
Paul won't be here.
Paul will be here.
Right, Paul, but Paula, we'll let Paula know.
as soon as we get what we can post, we'll get the meeting scheduled and we'll get the information posted so you can start. You know, you can log in and look at it earlier if you want to. As soon as we have it.
That's the 24th.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just wanna know what's different than what we projected, that's really my, cause we approved this, so this is our new line, what's changed from there, those are most of my questions.
There'll be that, and then there'll be next year's budget too. So.
Anything else? All right. At this time, I would accept a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of doing superintendent evaluation, which the only thing following that is going to be approving the evaluation and merit pay. You're welcome to stay for that. That's all that's going to happen after the closed session. That's up to you. So I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I would like to make that motion.
I'll support that.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same, and that motion carries. We'll take just about 5 minutes, and then we'll start our closed session.